Let's do a quick video about watches and wonders. We don't really do that on the channel because that wasn't really what the channel was about, but one way or the other, instead of just having only philosophical videos, I would also like to talk about recent news, make reviews, or any sort of, that kind of jazz. And what better time to do rather than now with watches and wonders just around the corner. But we're going to do it a bit differently. That being said, we're not going to be talking about Rolex, Tudor, and Patek Philippe. Everybody have been expecting something from them this year because all three of the brands have important milestones to celebrate. All very good, all very interesting. Rolex has always managed to piss everyone off with the Jubilee, even though that I don't exactly think it's a bad idea. I actually do like when Rolex tries to be a little bit funky and bold, but oh well, let's just put Jubilee, Monarch, and Black Bay and everything like that aside, and I would like to talk about my three personal highlights of watches and wonders. Number one, something everybody has already talked about, but the IWC Pilot Venture is absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and take a look. Incredible stuff that they came up with, even though that maybe the dial engineering and the fact that it's going to change your change the time on the watch is not the most innovative. The overall engineering poured into that watch to make sure that it works in space is just incredible. But for me, the most important part of that watch is the design language. The space watch, of course, is something that a lot of different brands have already tried to do, but nobody has executed as beautifully and elegantly as IWC have done. Subjective, perhaps, sure, but it's important in this particular situation because it feels more accessible to even just daily wear than we only going to give it to astronauts and they're going to be able to wear it, and that's just specifically watch for them. Yes, you could argue that something very similar has happened to Speedy, but Speedy did become an iconic watch. Therefore, I don't know if vertical drive is going to become an iconic watch, but the only thing I do know is that we really need to be on the lookout for similar attempts, or maybe IWC trying to expand on the line of their Pilot Venture, because that scratches the itch of let's try to make a modern, futuristic looking watch, but in a way that it doesn't feel forced, in a way that it doesn't feel like we're trying to make a cyberpunk parody or analogy, but we're actually trying to find a new design language. And Pilot Venture might as well just be a new stepping stone for brands to go, okay, so maybe we should try to detach ourselves from vintage and from, reiterations of our older models and do something new, do something cool, do something that might push us a little bit into the future. There's, of course, a couple of problems anyway, as always are. For example, the fact that the case is 44.5 millimeters. It's a massive thing. The diameter is just too much for smaller wrists. For example, mine, I have problems pulling out, or rather pulling off this watch over here, which I absolutely like, and it's already a bit too big for my wrist. And I also have my Legends diver, which is about 42-43 millimeter, and it's already pushing it quite a bit. 44.5 is a no-go for me at any point, which means I'm not going to be able to wear it, and unless they manage to squeeze all of that engineering into a smaller case, that's not going to be for us people with smaller wrists. One way or the other, I think that might be the new big thing. And not in terms of the product itself, let me just correct myself there before we're going to move on, but in terms of the design language, and whether that is going to be true or not, we'll have to see, I guess, in the future. The next personal highlight of mine is the revival of the Cartier Roadster. To be frank, I am a genuine big fan of the Cartier Roadster. I really think these are fun and incredibly elegant and amazingly beautiful watches. The tonneau-shaped case that just somehow screams sports elegance to me. I'm really happy to see it back because I thought that it's a great shame that it got discontinued, because it allowed us to have a different perspective on the same sort of a quote-unquote niche or a type where we were looking for a specific car sports designed watches. And we have a plethora of different brands to choose from. The only difference is that we never really had the Cartier's look at it. We had the German designs from Porsche Designs, we had the staple design from TACO and Monaco, or of course the Carreras or anything you like, and there's this sort of a more of an American idea coming from Daytona, and it's now forever tied with Paul Newman, and so on and so forth. And there's, of course, some stuff like Intromatic from Hamilton and the other chronographs. But we never really had something that was screaming, we are going to have a very elegant type of a car, elegance from a watch. We never had this just be the cornerstone of the entire watch, and I feel like Roadster is doing exactly that. I am not sure whether there's going to be a customer for that product. I am not 100% sure that people are going to be as happy as I am about the return of that watch, but since I can safely say that I would be one of the buyers instantly, I guess there are people that are still feeling kind of nostalgic about the Cartier Roadster, and I would be very happy to see if they're going to bring more iterations of this line now in the future. So for me, it's a great thing that it's back. I love this. And the third thing, I actually thought that it flew under everyone's radar a little bit, is March LAB with their new perfect dress watch, as they call it itself. A great overall approach to how we are going to try to reimagine rectangular and squared watches, the shape of the cases. I am really happy to see someone try to do a different twist on it, because we've seen a lot of tank-like watches, and when we see somebody actually trying to do something new and something fun about it, I am genuinely, for one, incredibly happy to see people do something new. March LAB in general has been on my radar for quite a while. I think they're doing quite incredible stuff and very interesting to look at. And this waffle kind of like dial, very incredibly rich green, but it also feels slightly matted. Like, and the lugs, the shape of the lugs are kind of like pointy, but at the same time not feeling sharp enough to cut you. Overall, a great approach to design, a great approach to try and come up with something new and innovative. Really happy to see it. Let's see what March LAB is going to bring in the future. But overall, if you've skipped that one, I recommend you to take a look at it. Incredible stuff. Overall, it's just a quick overlook of everything that have been released during Watches and Wonders that I thought would be my personal favorites. I didn't really want to go down into specs, but just to have an overview of everything that I thought was incredibly fun. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Watches and Wonders 2026? I'm going to be extremely excited to watch and read everything you're going to talk about. I'm quite interested to see what other people thought it was exciting and interesting. And if you really like the idea how we're doing videos around here, go ahead and take a look around the channel. We have loads of things that we already can serve you, let's say. That being said, thank you everyone for your attention, and I'll see you next time.